beloved, this is the Culture and Camaraderie podcast, the most thought-provoking, introspective, industrious creative discussion with my guy Tiberius.
Wagwan.
Big Blammer, I got the hammer.
And
myself, Damadici, or nytypical.net.
You didn't even drop
Hit
my...
up. Give it a second, homie. Give it a second. Hit up Black's Era for all your production needs. He the nigga with all the equipment. He got all the equipment and organization. You feel me? You feel me? In a new location, undisclosed, but it'll be disclosed if you hit him up at Lex_ERA, my G. Anyways, okay, that's a good cut-off point.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I be running.
We got discussion.
I be doing some shit. I've been hitting up the games and all of that things.
The games,
like, you know, because like basically. If I'm gonna be serious about how I'm speaking, I'm really getting into fashion, like not just like being in fashion and kind of like la-di-da-di-da, like the way that I've been low key, but like really getting into it, like looking at my competition, like my for real competition, and being like, I'm gonna destroy you type shit.
Okay.
Like on my real.
Is that what you mean by your competitive bag?
Yeah. Like I'm not listening to nobody. I don't want to consume your content. You ain't cool to me. You ain't an authority. You ain't the measuring stick of what fashion niggas do. Yeah, so basically.
Okay.
That's how I give it up.
That's it. Setting the bar.
But yeah, like on a real.
Well, that's what past week's been about for you.
Fam. Like no, I've just been like just feeling so. And someone said some.
Did someone say some shit?
Someone said some shit, man. And I was like,
What did they say?
You know me, I didn't say anything. You know.
No, you didn't say anything.
No. They said something. Like they were on their elitist bag. That's what they were doing. And then it just gave me flashbacks to all of the fashion girls back in school and all of that stuff. And the reason I'm real competitive with all of these what you call it? These classist people in it. I'm real. Like really. Like if there's one thing in the UK that I despise more than anything, it's the classism. And then I think that's one of the.
I think that's the problem that people actually ain't talking about. For all the hullabaloo I hear, I actually don't hear enough of that.
It's the racism, and then it's the racism mixed in with the classism.
Yeah, but I feel like everything stems from classism, really, isn't it? Wouldn't you say? Most of it does.
Nah.
Even the racism is a form.
No, like the racism, like the institutionalized racism is.
What's the difference?
Systemic from classism. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
And systemic, but there's the actual racism that comes above it. That's just like racism. And then there's institutionalized racism, intersectional racism, institutionalized, and then then there's the classist type stuff, which is like all of the layers that we're trying to combat, but are not really combating right now. And like, yeah, so because certain people in the UK went to certain schools, they have a certain they're seen as better than you, innit? And obviously, like I went to the best school in Europe for animation at the time, innit? Because, you know, I was in my classist bag, but it wasn't for fashion.
I was in my classist bag.
Yeah. Debbie said, no, you can't get into there. I was like, hold my beer. Actually, hold my energy drink, which is what I was drinking back then. Wait, did I drink energy drinks?
You still drink energy drinks?
No. I didn't even drink energy drinks back then.
You still drink energy drinks still?
Yeah, of course I do. I'm an energy drink connoisseur.
Wow.
But yeah, like, fam, this kid, I just wanted to, like, you know, the way I can get in it. Like, so I was like, type it. I even sent it, but then I deleted it. And whoever saw it. But I don't give a F. Like, I didn't want to have that discussion. And a lot of people tell me that, like, not even that I'm argumentative, but it's like, I'm hella condescending. like just in sound, like the way that I type shit out, it just sounds condescending. So I'm like, you know what? This is a new group that I'm in. I don't need to give them all of that yet. I'm just gonna chill, be myself, and chill out. I wasn't proud.
Oh, is this where it came out in that group?
Yeah. Because obviously I'm in like all new fashion groups and stuff like that. Like, because talking about classism and stuff it's like my bag, but it's not really my bag. Like it's like we can talk about like okay, like just with politics, economics, psychology, all of that stuff. We can speak about it, but it's not something that like I'm trying to put myself in.
Okay.
Like you can't ever speak over my head when it comes to politics and global economics and all of that stuff. But at the same time, that's not the wheelhouse I try to put myself in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm in the fashion type, all of that stuff. So when you start doing classism in art, I'm like, oh fam, you picked the wrong NIGGA on this day. Oh fam, oh bruv. Anyways, yeah, so now I'm like, and that put me in, and like I also made a video, and I was like, this video ain't the video, fam. This video ain't the video, and then that like really cinched it for me to just like, you know what? I'm just gonna pick fashion, even though fashion is like not my all the way thing, but it's like, you know, it's what I can put myself in. Can you stop doing that?
Why? Don't look at it then, isn't it?
It's like it's like my thing, but it's not. But no one like obviously no one knows it as my thing. Like it's just like I got pages for fashion and all that stuff, and like you know it's not like people like if there's anything, the people that follow me will come to me for, it will be fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But my money doesn't come from fashion.
Mm.
That's basically what I'm saying. And yeah, so I'm just like, okay, like I'm really gonna be in fashion. And plus, like something that I didn't know, my dad watches my videos. Like this is the only thing. I think you watch my videos as well,
mm-hmm.
which is quite like, and this is the only thing that people like, only thing. And like I didn't think that actually people would come to me for fashion knowledge. Like everything else people just know me for, but like when they're listening, it's fashion, funnily enough, probably because like it's not everybody's wheelhouse. But yeah, anyway, that's
but it's not just that. It's that you've sort of you've taken the time to delve into it, and I think people can see the effort you put into it. So when they come to it, depending on how consistent it is, I think just from an initial like entrance into it, I think it's because they see that you you've made a point of exhibiting in a certain way. So I think people are always gonna notice stuff like that, you know, which is good.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I do. And yeah, so I just like that's just been my week basically. What about you?
Good.
Anyways.
Yeah, man. Do you know what? I've had a bit of a mad one. Just the polls.
Oh yeah.
Having to go and vote. Doing all that, wrapping up for Christmas, man. Yeah, bro. Just settling into my new place. I guess just trying to land on 2 feet whilst I recalibrate and get ready for next year, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just been thinking about actually sort of getting my head in the right place for thinking like this isn't like a new year. This isn't about a new year, actually. This is about a whole new decade.
Yeah.
It's about the whole... It's not even about 2020.
It's not.
It's really not. Because when we get to 2029... Like, this is going to be a whole different conversation.
They ain't even know.
And it's just interesting because actually everything that we're thinking and talking about now is going to... The fruits, whether they bear or not, are going to be reflected on in that same year, 2029.
Yeah, it's
as
like...
it is now, you know?
It's like, because like we're only just getting into our execution bag after like long years of just like studying and like not saying shit and not posting stuff in public. So it's like I'd like 4 years ago, if you told me I'd be making fashion videos on YouTube and all of that stuff, I'd be like, huh? I'm in my economics bag, I'm in my psychology bag, I'm like planning to go to LSE and all of this stuff. And it's like I wasn't there mentally. But now it's kind of like, okay, I got a whole host of articles that I've wrote, and now it's like I got almost 200 that I've wrote just this year. Like last year I wrote a stupid amount. Wait, if I hit 200 this year, like 60 or 70 just in like the space of 4 months, right? And then I kind of just hit the ground running in 2019, and then like now it's almost 200. I've got like 6-7 blogs that are gonna come out. I got books that I'm like literally getting ready to write and all of this stuff, and it's like I'm really in a different level of bad. Like everything I did this year, I want to repeat +1 basically. Like I'm adding a visual element to all of the stuff that I've been doing, and that allows me to even share my archive content, which is like the coolest thing. It's like I get to actually go back to the articles and about what I've spoke about before and like just show it and like just be like, oh, the articles that I'm referencing in this video, this is the type of stuff that I've been talking about for like years already, innit? And in that sort of way, I'm like, oh, so this is kind of like my bag in the terms of like I can like I'm not just a video maker that's like suddenly making videos. I'm like I've actually, like you said, I've actually been doing fashion for a long time, and like I put the effort into writing, and in creating that archive of writing, I've enabled like this kind of authority, or like I don't know how to explain it, but just this like fashion writing is respected and lauded more than fashion video. So and then it's like, okay, if that's the truth, then I'm just gonna go ham in like all the articles that I write. And like obviously I said before, like I don't really like making video, like not videos, sorry.
Does that depend on the kind of video though?
No,
because say if you've done YouTube videos in like a more you see, because when you write in an article, and this is just from an outside look, it's like when you're writing an article, you're kind of like breaking down information in a particular way that when you're reading it, there is almost an element of studying that is attached to reading someone else's writing, right? But I also think there's a big difference between vlog style videos and almost documentarian style approach to a video. Now, like, who's a great example? Okay, here's a great example. Do you ever remember those videos? Oh, what is the YouTube channel called? Is it called? Is it? Oh, it's so annoying because there's these specific kind of YouTube channels where they'll take a topic or like they'll talk about something from music, like specific style of music. Like, do you know Lemonade?
Yeah.
Pharrell.
Yes.
What was the style of music it was inspired by?
Electro house?
No. There was a specific kind of music. It wasn't go-go, was it? No, it wasn't.
Oh. Wait, you talk about DC go-go?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Are you sure it wasn't?
It wasn't. It definitely wasn't. It's a very specific kind of music from I think either New Orleans or
yeah.
I can't remember, but anyway.
Them Haitians,
Right, basically, the way that they approach that video, even though it's like only like 8 to 10 minutes, is a video that is in a educational.
Louis.
I think so. I can't remember the exact area it was from, and I can't remember. Apologies, the exact style of music, but the way that they broke down.
Oh, Lemon. That's
yeah, Lemonade. I said, didn't I?
Yeah.
But the way they broke it down, like that's a really sort of interesting, informative format. And I think obviously there's a certain craftsmanship to it with the editing and the way it's shot that's purposely made to a much higher level than a vlog style video.
Made that dancer a superstar.
Huh?
It made that dancer a superstar.
Oh, what, Lemon? Yeah.
That girl in the video, she's been dancing. She was dancing everywhere that year, fam. Pharrell just knows how to make them type of videos. She got a girlfriend. I'm hoping she breaks up with her girlfriend so that I can be a boyfriend. You think I'm playing? But yeah, okay, I feel you. So yeah, documentarian style.
Yeah.
Oh,
Show me.
oh God.
I remember her being fire. She's flames. Yeah.
Oh, I used to follow her low key on IG, and then
Damn.
just
She cut her hair in the video, didn't she?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
I remember. Crazy shit.
But I just love girls that dance. Like that's always been my thing. Like from
no,
early
I feel
days.
you 100%.
Always.
Like there's just a different. It's just different.
It's just different. So yeah, like yeah, I feel you. Like with all of the vlog, and then like because that's like the documentarian styles, the like one with heavy editing and like
it's just
go back. It's different.
It is
but
different.
like that's not for everybody. And like just like my articles, I want them to be easily read because niggas don't read. I've been saying this for like almost a year now. Like niggas don't read, and it's not necessarily my black friends that share my work. It's my fashion black friends. It's like a specific type of black friend, and my artist, like super artist black friend, and like, but then outside of that, it's like everybody else. It's like just a different ball game, and like I feel myself gearing up to even just write another 200 fashion articles for next year, and it's like gonna be so mean. And I shouldn't have said that, but it's like just gonna be so mean the way like it's gonna be video and articles all merged into one. And it's like I'm thinking of this new way, and like I'm even thinking about a zine, and like yeah. It's all different. Like, just like if I'm like, I said to myself, if I'm gonna pick writing, I'm gonna do all of the writing. So it's doing a zine, and then writing books, and then writing songs, and like all the stuff that I wanted to do. It's like gonna be all the way. Like I'm gonna entrench myself in like just studying all of the stuff that's like just there, and it's like because all of the stuff that I can do, but it's like not easy for me to do, such as make clothes, such as start a store, which is actually quite hard. It's harder than you think. And like what else is there? Design trainers, like all of that stuff is like just technically, as in like just the logistics and business, and like the amount of money that you need to use to start, and like the entry point is very, very high monetarily. Like just for writing, I've spent about £2,000 just to like be a writer that's okay and sustainable, and that's numbers probably gonna double when it's like I've got the camera, and then I've got lights, and then I've got this man, and it's like better. It's like just better everything, and then it's like yeah, it's just gonna be different. So it's just like a different level of thinking and obviously writing and speaking, they're my thing, quote unquote, but it's not the thing that like I wanted to share. Like it's not like it. I probably should have like 2 years ago when I was like drawing fashion illustrations and stuff. I probably should have went in doing that in hindsight, but considering it's writing now, and I do have a book out and of all of these things, it's just my other thing that I do that's like quite like not even sustainable but repeatable to a high level. So I can either draw, I can write a lordly amount of articles. Like I can write 10,000 words in a day. Like that's just easy. It's not easy, but it's like it's a thing that I can do. It feels normal. It feels right. So I'm gonna do that sort of thing. So yeah. And like
Yeah, just next level, isn't it?
Yeah, just knowing that and just being like, okay, I'm okay with this. Like, just like making myself like, because before, like for everything that I've done before, it's like I'm not really okay with like just going back to uni and studying like economics and all that. That just feels like a messy field in general, and I'm not really good with politics. So yeah. But this one, it's like, okay, I see the future that I'm prepared and undertaking right now, and it's like I can deal with this, like sort of thing. It's like, yeah, you know, I can be the guy in front of the camera now. Like before, like in my first video, I had like spots all over my face and stuff, and I had no trim, just had my do-rag on, just talking about something, and then it's like, there's bare edits and like I was just rambling a bit, and it's like, but I was like, I need this video to be out the next day. I just felt like it was like, just put the video out, like just make a video and then put it out. And it was like about a subject that was like so me, and it's like a great entry point for me in this. But it's like but further than that, it's like my fashion journey's been like 12 years deep now, and it's like I do be knowing about people like Hedy Slamar and or Eddie Slamar, however you want to say it, and Phoebe Philo, like, and like Galliano and McQueen and Balenciaga and Dior, and like I've been like Dior and Balenciaga are the two people that like started my history journey. Like, you know, you got Chanel and all of that stuff, but like people where we are, it's like you wear like back then it was like Chanel and Fendi and Gucci and all of that stuff, but I was like, no, like 2013 2014 I was like, let me see like who the real guys were back then. It's like, obviously you had Louis back then, but Louis wasn't Louis until like the 80s and 90s when LVMH got him. But it was Balenciaga with Couture, and then Dior with the new look, and you obviously got Ralph Lauren, and yeah. But enough of my like showing my pedigree, quote unquote.
Yeah, no, flashy. We are so flashy.
No, see, this is the thing that I don't like. Like, that's the one thing that I don't like. It's like, I don't like. I want fashion to be accessible.
You gotta flex, innit?
I want fashion to be accessible to bare people, and like I just like, I know we have an opportunity, especially within the black community, to have it like not as classist as the actual fashion space is, because like I don't feel like we have to be like these fashion girls.
It's a whole new it's a whole new industry in a weird way, like, or approaching or building like a new.
Yeah, we get to start a new foundation like as soon. Like, I don't know whether you've read, or anybody who would listen has read Black Renaissance 2 and Future History 1. Black Renaissance, Future History. I was like, everything that we're doing, we're creating history. And it's like, when I realized that like everything that we do, our generation does in these years, it's going to be seen by everybody, because we are the generation, like when you really deep that, we are the generation that like is able to read, like just read, like literate black people, not even have a degree, but just read. And then like above that we have degrees, and then above that we have normal jobs, and it's like, okay, that's cool and all, but like art, especially fashion, wasn't for like the normal people ever. Like, it's never been for normal people. It's never been for guys like you and me to just like say, oh, we're stylish type of people. But because of the advent of streetwear and just getting like, this is just as Dior made the new look way back in the 50s, this is the new look for men. So we do have guys that just come from where we come from and just like dress well. And it doesn't need to be high fashion, and like obviously I have my thesis of I dress better than you in ASOS, which is kind of like just a display of, yo, you don't need to wear you don't need to wear high fashion
to look
and
good.
luxury to like look fly. Anyways, yeah, that's just my take. And it's like
Good.
all of that history, like all of the history that we're creating, which is exactly what it is. It's like when you actually consider it as history, that every move you make is history, then you kind of take a life a little bit more seriously. It's like you just know that, yeah, what I'm doing today is gonna be in a book somewhere. What I'm tweeting today, like we are creating the foundation of internet rules. Imagine that.
That's
the way
deep.
that people conduct themselves on the internet. Like it's gonna be considered like a different type of nation, and the way that we even speak and the new apps that are gonna come out next decade is just gonna be different. Everything's gonna be different. So you gotta move in that type of way. So when you start talking about the way in which we're gonna be speaking in 2029, it's like, yeah, it's like that's everything. Like you just gotta see all of the angles, and like I prepared myself for knowing those angles, as well as, oh, I do know my career in all of those different types of facets as well, like the psychology of the buyer and the economics of fashion, and the politics in the community, and like how factories make cloth and textiles and all of that stuff. So from when you're going to buy fibers all the way up until it's like in a store, which is like where I just want to be a visual merchandiser so bad. Like I'd need to be inside a store. Like I can read about it as much as I feel like, but I need to be inside a store, or I need to make a pop-up, and I need to like just witness, and you know what I mean?
Be involved.
Yeah, you got like there's just certain parts of fashion you got to be involved in. Like the past is the past, innit? And like factories, that's a different type of work, and it's in different places. You can't really do that in the UK. But like when you can have like a normal job. Like I'm literally gonna take a pay cut, like a massive pay cut, to become a visual merchandiser. So yeah, it's gonna be mad. It's gonna be mad. Like actually, just doing this, like just starting a fashion production, like it's taking a pay cut. Like it's, yeah, all of this is a pay cut for me. All of this.
Yeah. Well,
like the last paycheck I had was 25k per year, and that was all the way back in 2016.
It's mad to think it was that long.
Yeah,
I feel like it was longer than that. 2016, saying that was 3 years ago. That's mad.
It's 2016, fam. Last year I was on. How old was I back then?
How old was you?
Yeah, I was like
24.
23. I was gonna be 24. So yeah, I was 23 back then. Marketing, business development, project manager, damn mad things. Anyways,
It's all mad.
what do we want to talk about today? Actually, well, I did say that I want to talk about being a person. That's kind of like what the way that this podcast kind of started out. But is there any topics that you actually want to talk about?
I would say I want to talk about Culture's album.
And then, like, here's the thing though, we're gonna archive these soon, which is the only reason why I'm being very open. So it's like you can only find these on our websites and stuff like that, because we can do the record. Boop, boop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man. You told me about your shit, man.
Tell you about my shit. Do you know
Yeah,
what?
man.
Yeah, just being completely honest. I think this is the least I've made anything in my whole entire life, this point in my life.
I feel that.
This is the least I've ever made anything. And I think that's what I was talking about, like, sort of, I've had such a weirdly turbulent year. I've had a weirdly turbulent year. And obviously, most people's years are turbulent, especially when you're doing creative endeavours or you're doing anything that requires you to step out of a comfort zone or do something out of the ordinary, do something that you truly want to do. But it's weird because I've been so scattered and thinking about what I'm meant to be doing and how everything's adding up and how that fits into how I keep myself alive and thriving and developing just as a person, aside from everything creative. And yeah, it's just like I've just been sitting down, like I haven't been, other than the events, I haven't actually been solidly creating. A lot of it is because of, it's not just because of life per se, but it's not just because I haven't been creating, I should say, but also there's been a lot in this past like 3 months that I've had to be sort of settling into and sorting out. And I feel like now I've sort of just coming out on the other side of that, like getting moved in my house, getting that all sorted.
Yeah, you create a different vibe and environment for yourself, which is like the thing. It's like the one thing that like is just generally hard for all creators to do is like create an environment and be like the lord of that environment. And like say, this is what I want, and then literally go to get it, which is like the most admirable thing a creative can do. And
it's mad because even though in terms of creative endeavors, I wouldn't say the things that I've done necessarily, like, look, the event was a smash, and that's something we've wanted to do. We've been talking about this year, like as a crew, like as a group, like especially with Suede, we've done everything we said we was going to do and done it well. Like we said we was going to move in together. We said we was going to throw a like mad event and we're going to do it sick, and we've done that. And like everything else that I've put myself, just even individually saying I wanted to get out of my mum's house and just have this like next few years to just sort of forge my actually truly independent path and put myself into position to just sort of take the reins a little bit, and put myself in a position where I can't make any excuses, I guess, and just, you know, whether or not this will make things easier, harder, or make me more resilient, that time will tell that. But I think the position I put myself in now, and just everything from being by myself independently to even the subtler things of I'm 10 minutes away from my work instead of an hour and a half. So I've got 3 extra hours in my whole entire life to be able to do whatever it is I need to do. I'm in London. I'm around some of the most creative people I know, and we're here in the house together, setting in this place that we said we wanted to find, and we're all here backing each other creatively, working, not just living together but working together. And I think the past year has been my vision's been so muddied because of everything else I've been doing, like just in terms of trying to find my place where I can just settle myself in terms of what I need to do. And now it's going to be a case of that I found that sort of that space that I can, like, I've found that space, not just in where I'm working currently and where I'm living, but just a space where I'm going to be able to truly sort of forge that vision now. And it's funny because, like, being at this rap battle event that I was at today, it's funny, like, watching these people. It was such an interesting thing to see, because when I go to these things, like, I'm not a huge rap fan. I'm not a huge battle rap fan. But I look at these. I always look at everything like these things on the level of, this person sat here and crafted, because it's a performance. Like, when you see battle rappers go at it, it's like a full-on performance. Like, it's just art. It is art. It's not like an incredibly lucrative thing to do per se. It's not something that they're doing. Obviously, you're getting the recognition, you're getting the clout of being the best and winning, and it's competitive. Yeah. But the way people craft all their bars to fire at someone and in front of so many people, and do it with such finesse, like, there's just a level of finesse battle rappers move.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and it's it's crazy, and it made me realize it's like it's not just this, but I've just cumulatively, it's what I've been paying a lot of attention to the most, just from the conversations we've had and doing certain things, and it's like I feel like next year's got to be a lot of no's to things. I feel like I've got to be more prepared to be able to say no, and that vision that when I see someone who's sat there and crafted all these bars that have a timing and pacing and spacing and direction and clarity and vigor, the things that they've crafted this with their own vision, that's the level of tenacity that I know that I've had, but need to focus on again, and that I have sitting within me, and that I've kind of, because I feel like this year, although I've done a lot of the things that I've wanted to do, I've also it's been a battle with inner demons that it's like I've lost the battle, but the war's still going on, you know? Like there's the sense the war's still going, and I know that the battle, the war's still waging, but there's a couple of battles that I know I gave up on. And yeah, man, like I think now being at this point where I'm at, where a lot of the things that actually, when I sit down and think about, I realize I've sat and thought and imagined a lot of the things that where I'm at right now. There's no difference between that and everything else that I'm wanting to do.
Definitely.
And it's like, if there's any time I've been in position to sort of make these things real, it's now. And yeah, man, I think it's just like this Christmas time's just gonna be a real, just about gaining as much clarity as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, forging a vision, man. That's
yeah.
it. And I think that the biggest problem for this year is like, even though I've had visions for things, I haven't allowed myself to give myself the clarity, just because of the anxiety of not doing them right, or you know,
I think
what I mean,
you have like the same problem as me, where it's like you got all of these different avenues, and it's like you can pick a path, but do you know whether this is the right path? And then like, okay, I can do this thing, and like there's people calling me for that thing, and I've got all of these things that I know that I can do over here, and it's like, okay, yeah, all of this is cool, but like, what is the thing? And like, obviously, like me, I kind of just like stumbled into just like accepting one thing that's like, okay, yeah, you can write, and people think your writing is okay at least, and stuff like that. So I just said, okay, it's writing then. Like it just ended up like, okay, then cool, you know what? And then it's like, okay, I'm gonna give everything.
That's the funny thing. I've been, and this is why I feel like I've sort of gave up a little bit, or felt disheartened, or I've lost the fire that I've had for the longest time, to prior to this year and even the year before. Like that real sort of vigorous fire that I feel like I had, because I feel that that's what I instead of looking for what I've wanted to, I kind of went, okay, look, I'm going to need to, what I'm going to do now, and what I'm going to try is give myself to all these things that I think that are connected to what I want to do, that if this is what I'm actually supposed to be involved with, let me try these things. And those things failed, you know, because those were places that I didn't truly feel comfortable or feel that weren't me.
Yeah,
and now I'm back to this place.
Like, it's and now, a smorgasbord. Like, oh, it's just like, you know, you got all of these things, you got skills. Yeah, like, and the problem with the place that we came from is that they gave us a plethora of skills, so we could pretty much practice anything. Like, you could pick up a camera tomorrow and like get good at photography in like a week or two and stuff like that, and then it's like, oh shit, I got photography skills now, and it's like, okay, what do I do with this though? Like, and that was like literally the thing that bugged me for like 4 or 5 years, because like I would be tasting things, and it's like, oh yeah, I can get good, and it's like, and then people be like, oh, I didn't know you could do that, and it's like, yeah, so, and it's like, and it's like,
true.
oh, what, and it's like,
true.
now it's like, do I practice this? Do I ask for money for doing this? And it's like, okay, like how do I and then it's like, well, I'm just thinking about having fun. Like when you're in your early 20s, that's what we were doing. It's like we were just having fun, running around London, doing mad things, and just like going out, exploring, all of that stuff. And then like you get older, and it's like, and then it just turns into, okay, you can't just be Dora the Explorer no more. Like stuff is good, like, and Swiper is gonna steal time from you to like continue on with my Dora the Explorer thing. Like time is running, like time is literally running away from you, and it's like you just gotta be like, you just gotta pick something to be economically sounding just in this small period, 25 to about 32 or something, which is like what I said to myself. I said in these 7 years, I'm gonna create an economic backbone, and then in a year, well, this year I should say, I was like, raw, like I've really cultivated an archive that's cool. And like I was obviously telling you, like when I almost hit 200, and I think we spoke about on this podcast as well, I was like, what do I do? Like, well, actually, not even then. It was like when I hit 100 articles, and you were like, oh, that's a big thing. And then like it's not just articles, it's like essays and then dissertations and stuff, and it's like, so like, and then it's like, so what are you doing like with all of these things that you're putting out? And then like almost around the time, like actually around the time I put my book out, I was hitting 200 articles, and then it's like, okay, so like, am I really writing now, or like are you just doing this for fun now? And then like all the, like, and then it started being a resounding effect where I was like asking myself, like, because when people would ask me how do I make money from this, it's like I'm not necessarily doing this thing particularly for the money. Especially my book, it was like, this isn't for money, it's just something that I did because I needed to do it, because I had to speak up for all of the people that can't like write the way that I write, and it's like using my skill to say something basically. And like obviously people bought into that and like actually did buy my book, and it's like but, and it's like also, yeah, that's great, but that isn't the place where I stay. It's like I do kind of like obviously you got fashion, and then you got writing, and then you got fashion writing, and it's like I'm not really a journalist, I'm like an actual designer, but then now I speak on fashion, and it's like, do designers speak on fashion, or do designers, like, does a musician speak on music? Does a musician critique other musicians? Like, and that's a big thing that's been going on the past couple of years. And it's like, what do we actually say or do and stuff like that? So yeah, it's been a weird one, but I just had to add that.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And it's weird because I feel the same, and I think that's what's sort of added to everything is, yeah, I do. There's a sort of element where I do feel like a bit of a fraud in a weird way, because a lot of everything else that I'm doing, yeah, it's taking up time. Like, if I'm honest, like even this, it's like, even though this like there's things that this does for me outside of my creativity, this is still like, at the moment, especially the way things are, it's still a big chunk of life and time, you know what I mean? And it's like, like I know that like once, like now everything's sort of settling down as we move into Christmas, and I've got a bit more time to sort of do the things that I've been wanting to do. It's just that focus, man. That's really what I'm wanting, and that's what I'm hungry for again. And that's sort of like what's it called? Putting the blinders on, you know?
Here's to plug my book, Melancholy Maelstrom, Silver Linings. A Diary of Silver Linings. Like, to put the silver linings on it, it's like, especially like I was even tweeting today, I was just tweeting about, you know, just having a superior taste level. And like, not me particularly having a superior taste level, but just having people around me with a superior taste level.
Mm.
And that doesn't come from just like focusing on that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's like having people around you that have tasted many different types of things, and like obviously I can go from opera, listen to Pavarotti and stuff, but I can also listen to Ski Master Slump God, and I can also talk about all of these things, and it's like you're an actual human, like, which is something that obviously man have been fighting for ages, like just being a human. Like, just I'm not an artist that does this thing. I'm a human, and then I've got a foundation, and it's not just my life been around design. It's design is a part of my life.
Exactly.
And, like, just having that separation of like, this is my art, and like, but I'm me.
I'm still me. Yeah.
At the end of the day, and like,
that's what I've been battling with. I think for the longest time, like I actually, like even to this very moment and day, I don't have a fucking clue who I am or what I'm doing really. And I think it's just like
and the thing is, you can explore that. You can explore yourself, but you can but people will also know that you're good at music. Yeah. You're a good TJ. You produce. You like. You do those things, but like at the same time, you can still be human and like have challenges. Like,
that's it. Yeah, facts, exactly. And I think that's what I'm like starting to. Like, it's weird because in fact it's sort of the acceptance of that, and I think that's why I knew like the position I put myself in now is kind of a necessary one because of that. It's because do you know what? There's all these responsibilities that I've got to fulfill anyway. Let me throw a part of my soul into that a little bit. Like when I say soul, I mean it is almost a bit of a sacrifice. It's a bit of a. Do you know what? This is about the understanding the ability for me to navigate this and still face who it is that I'm trying to be. And there's a lot in this past like 4 months having to be in the position that I'm in that I've had to take from it, and I can see like the opening, you know? Yeah. Like I can see the opening of where now it's just about the application of focus and all the things that we've been talking about. Like that this is all it's gonna take now. Because at the end of the day, it's true, like, look, if I've not got a job, if I've not got this, I'm gonna have to find money somehow. Gonna have to use my skills freelancing, which is still more time. It's not necessarily earning money in what I do. You know what I mean? I could be throwing myself into just straight trying to earn money with my beats and DJing and stuff like that. That's something I could do, but at the end of the day, that's still gonna be like, no. My point is, no matter what, there's always gonna be problems, and I have to find the best way to navigate. As you're saying, the most economically sound way to navigate what it is that I'm trying to do. That makes most sense. And yes, it's just about carving that, because I know what I know what I can do. Like the thing is, there's so many talented people around me. I have so many people that I met that are doing great things and are involved in the scenes and around people that like that. There's not a problem with that. I know how to connect with people. I know how to through who I am able to connect my music with people that I want to connect it with. And it's just now about it's that focus, man.
I feel
it's that focus.
Like a lot of it is just the psychological pressures of society.
Yeah, I think that plays a big part.
So much of it is like, you being very aware of the age you are and the age you're gonna be. And it's like, okay, so you're supposed to have this.
This, exactly, yeah.
And
100%.
Obviously, with the way that we've, like, mentally structured ourselves and then, like, actually wanting to structure our lives, it's like, I want to make art that's free of those boundaries.
Exactly.
Because that is the best type of art. That is the art that we see we want to make. And that's, like, our separation between us and that. Like, us and them, I should say. Them being the people that apply the society rules to art and like force that I need to be a millionaire aesthetic, or I need to have all of this type of thing. It's like, when you're talented, like, not to sound snobby or like overclass or something like that, it's like, just when you have a talent, it's like, you are able to just decide, okay, I want to utilize it in a different way. I want to be able to say, I wanted to open myself to the different challenge of just being this type of person. Not saying that the other type of person is bad, but like I want this challenge and not that challenge. Because then, like, when you think about it, it's like, obviously there's different challenges on both sides, but it's like, over there it's like, oh, you're using your talents for this, so that means you have to think short term, you have to think quarterly about everything that you're doing, and then it's all part of this scheme and society, and like you're filing taxes for all of this, and then it's like, okay, I need to make money for this at this time, and then you make different moves. But it's like, in the way that we're moving, it's like, okay, so you can do this, but you want to make legacy moves. Okay, so you know this is going to be longer. You know this is a difficult, not so traveled path, and there isn't one path for everybody. It's like an individual thing for each person. And even though you're kind of paralleling in the struggle, you're also only going to be able to walk this one on your own, because your type of skill, the way that you execute, is totally different to everybody else. So yeah, it's like having that conscious effort and conscious mindset, knowing, okay, the only reason why I'm different, or why this is different, and why this feels more weirder than anything else, is because I'm deciding. Like, it's a conscious decision.
It's not a societal decision.
Yeah, it's like a me decision. It's like, I want to make this type of art, so I have to act in this type of way. And God damn it, you gotta be a man of your words. You just gotta be like, yeah, okay then. And it's like, you can't beat yourself up, you can't bully other people because of that, you can't like be an arsehole to your family and stuff like that. You gotta be like, yo, I picked this one. It's like, and yeah, your family's gonna be asking, where's your money come from, and all of this stuff. And it's like, yeah, because you, at the end of the day, you still have that societal pressure. It doesn't disappear because you decide you want to be a legacy artist and all of this stuff. It's like, no, it's like, you need to make money. You need to have an income somewhere, somehow. You are a human adult in this place. Like, you had the time to decide how you're gonna make your money. Okay, that's cool. You're making your money like that. All right, we're cool with you doing that. But then your personal one is, okay, now that I'm making money in some way, somehow, I don't have that little tiny part of the pressure of making stuff for this money. So now you have the opportunity to be, or to share your greatest type of
your
art,
most authentic
and
stuff,
you still have to, like, and that doesn't say that you're not going for the public, you're not trying to make the best thing that people will listen to and people will gravitate towards. That's not saying you're automatically gonna make music or art or anything for longevity. That's not saying any of your music's gonna live for longer than you.
It's just the aim. It's the aim.
Yeah, it's just an opportunity. It's just open yourself up to that opportunity. And even though you can do it on the other side, it's just this side just seems that little bit more to what we're suited to. And that's the only thing. It's like, I just want to make great writing, and I just want to make great art.
Yeah.
And obviously,
I think regardless of whatever, it's always more fulfilling. I think it's always more fulfilling when you're being the most true to what you create.
And my stuff, our stuff is like just art in general. Like, it's just, even though my trainers are 100, it's going to be 100% commerce. It has to be 90% marketed, 10% all the creativity in the world. It's like, they can be the best, most comfortable trainer, best looking, still has to be marketed.
It has to be a vibe. It has to be. Has to fit into culture. It has to.
Yeah, you have to abide. Like, there's obviously the
rules,
architectural,
and that's going to inform the creativity regardless. Anyway,
exactly. So. And just gotta be okay with those. Like, there's just those because obviously when you're an independent, it's like you see all of the separations in the ladder, and or even in the wall or in the fence, you see each individual line that connects with the next line, and you just gotta be able, because you're focused and you're open to each one. It's like, okay, I'm available.
So do you think, this is a question I want to ask, so do you think with like stuff like trainers, I think fashion in general, do you think it's a place where art and commerce sit most in tandem, in a way where they're the most synergistic in how they, and the most synergistic example of how they
yeah
because I think that's why fashion's probably the most lauded, like, well, other than everyone needs clothes, everyone likes clothes, most people like clothes, they have some sense or form of
them, and the fact that you like them and you have a style, you need it.
Because even with music, it's like it still needs to be, everyone loves music, still needs to be sold, but it's hard to explain.
Yeah, you run a different type of lifestyle with music than you do with fashion. And obviously, like, because before, or not even before, just on a separate path, it's like, oh, I'm into movies. Like, I didn't stop being into movies because I'm writing about fashion. I could have wrote about movies. I could have wrote about movies straight out of university. That could have been my thing, but I chose not to. And part of the reason is because I didn't want to become a critique of things that, like, I just went university for. I didn't even think that was cool. Like, I still don't even think it's cool, to tell you the full truth. I don't like the fact that I'm thought of as a critic in any sort of way. Like, I'm just someone that's speaking about his style and his life and authenticity, and it just so happens to match with the way men's fashion is right now. And because I focused on men's fashion for so many years, I get the opportunity to speak about it and be an actual participant, because I was about it in the 09s and 07 or 08s and 07s, and you do that runway walk in the college canteen, and like everyone's looking at your clothes, and like everybody, and it feels like everybody in the canteen is looking at you, and all of that stuff. It's like you got those stories because you tried. Like, and even in uni, when like you're in the elevator and it's like people are gonna see you wear clothes, and then you're in the clubs and people are gonna see what you're rocking, and it's like, oh, like, do people know you for being stylish? Yeah, that's cool. And anyways, it's like but more to your point, it's like yeah, like,
it's still a place where the most creative people can make the most money.
Cinema is like mad commerce. It's like just straight.
That's
commerce.
where the most
like
money is made. Yeah.
High investment, and it needs a high yield for the investment to be like, you can't break even in cinema. That is not the point in cinema. In fashion, when you're an independent, it's like you just make clothes, people buy them, you get your own thing and your own people, and it's like you build slowly in there. But in cinema, there's like this, like, for just a decent good movie, you need maybe about 250k in general. Like, all in, like, some movies take 3 or 4 years to make because it takes 3 or 4 years to like raise that money, and some scenes are made in the first year and some scenes are made in the third year. Like, it's not about the editing and all that stuff, it's about the equipment and the way that you want to shoot it and all of that stuff. And that can be done in 3 months, which means it costs a lot of money, or that can be done in years, which means it's like not that much money,
stretch it out,
but it's gonna be a longer time. But with fashion, like, and even though like it takes 10k for tooling, just for tooling, like, that's the sole, like, just to make a sole sample, like, for like the mold, like if you're injection molding or if you're using airbags or anything, like, just your mold, it costs around 10k, maybe 7, like, ish. And this isn't even talking about samples and all of these type of things. It's like with trainers specifically, it's because for shoes it's cheaper, but with trainers specifically, it's like building a car brand, basically. Like, you need a range of cars, just as you need a range of sneakers, and you need mass marketing the same way that you need mass marketing for sneakers, and you need to actually tell your story straight away within 30 seconds. And that's not because of people's attention spans or nothing like that. That's because your story needs to be able to be told in a couple sentences, but also envisioned in the way that you need it to be seen. However, outside of that, you just need a great design that feels like it can last long. Like it needs, like that one trainer should be able to last 3 years in someone's wardrobe. Like just like, well, I don't know how everybody else designs, but that's how I design. Like I need that window. Like for my first trainer, it was gonna be 2019 to 2022. Like that's literally like the space that I made this trainer for. And obviously I see different essences of like what I was gonna make in my trainer in the way other people are doing their stuff, and that obviously tells me that I had the right idea in 2018 and 2017. Like I did have the right idea for making a football top for 2019, top of the year and stuff like that, and making a rugby top, which is like really what I wanted to do. Like it was on my wall and all of that stuff, and but obviously different type of money, different type of pattern making, different type of skill set, but there's other things that I know I can do, and my skill and everything that I did to build up that understanding that that's what I wanted to sell in 2018, 2019. I just got to do all of that continuously for years to come, just so I can make whatever I want to make. And in the meantime, I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be presenting and stuff like that. But yeah, and like I have to like, if anything, I'll focus back on marketing. Like I'll get a marketing and advertising job at an agency or something, and just like be in it again. Even though I hate that stuff, like I low key have to be in it and know all the things that we're using.
But specifically in a fashion house, or like not a fashion house, sorry.
Just an agency that deals with different types of clientele and like.
But in fashion.
Yeah, it could, like it can. I haven't thought specifically about fashion, but yeah, that's cool. Like it would be good, but it's like some fashion houses, like you'd have to go to LVMH or Kering. It's all a different type. Like it's like being at Universal. It's like so it's just different. And like I said, it's not my thing. Like I'm not trying to be an editor in Vogue. It's like I just want to be, like I really just want to be in the space. But to be in the space, you need to be grandfathered in. You like someone needs to be like, yeah, you're the person for this, which is like the opposite of everything that I am. But
Yeah. I feel you.
But yeah, like
100%.
yeah, it's like, so that's why it's like at the same time I'm commerce, but at the other side it's like design. It's just like full design, and like, which is why like I'm writing stories alongside. Like I have to write my books. I have to, and I have to write my scripts. I have to. But yeah, it's just writing, bare writing. It's weird. But yeah, just trying to be the best. Have you decided on being the best or not?
No, I haven't, and I think that's what that's. But I think it's been a problem, because it's like I was talking about earlier. I feel like I've been very much like, well, do you know what? If I can just get like a piece of the pie, you know, that kind of approach. If I can just, and I think that's largely because of how I've allowed the sort of stress to get to me. Like, don't get me wrong, that's not to like belittle what that kind of stress can actually do to someone. You know, that where you're striving, but I think there was somewhere along the way that I stressed myself out so much about doing whatever it is I wanted to do, about making music and producing, and that I almost couldn't make it. Like really, it's been hard to just sit and make anything. That's been a part of it. Like, it's not just been about I haven't been able to. It's been hard when I have sat down and tried. There's something about it that has just been hard. Like it's weird because this is probably the strongest amount of like I kind of don't believe in writer's block. I don't really believe in it.
Yeah, not anymore. When I was a kid, like, but you've got the information, you've got everything that you need to make a good song.
That's what I'm saying. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you so it's more just about it's just getting in your own way more than anything. It's not writer's block is just you getting in your own way. That's not like there's some external force. It's not that your brain is stopping you. You're getting in your own way, and it's and whatever you need to do to remove that is what needs to be done. And I'll admit I haven't exactly found that yet. I strongly believe it's something to do with a vision, my vision, and what the stories I'm telling myself in this current moment in time. But I just feel like that all of that's changing, honestly. Like me being in my own space and away from my old area and old life, it has really sort of positively affected me. So now it's just building on this, man. It's just,
I see it. You got your new jacket. Got your
new
coat.
New jacket, new me, baby.
Got your own clean, baby.
Baby.
You got your own clean crepes and all of that stuff.
You know.
You've been supplied.
Yo, actually, I'm sorry. I know we're not usually doing plugs here, but bro, blessings to I Hate Ironing. Yeah, I've just got to do this. You can get your new. I sound like I'm fully doing an ad.
Yeah,
but it's actually so sick. Like I spent 15 quid, got my crepes, like fresh, brand new, done, like delivered, picked up from my house and delivered to my door. That's mad.
That's funny.
I love that. So
dope.
I'm gonna be using that
and
advocating for it till the ends of the earth. Because do you know when you come across services or products that are actually stellar?
Yeah,
like that's a stellar service. I don't care for 15 quid. Okay, fair enough. It's £20 minimum, so they round it up. But even so, £20 to clean your crepes that you probably spent 130 for.
Yeah.
So instead of you getting brand new ones, like,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, oh, by the way, it's I Hate Ironing.
Yeah.
So if you're in the London area, maybe
now,
did I?
right.
I wasn't sure. Anyway, but yeah, crazy stuff.
Shout out to Ironing.
You know what I mean?
You know what Ironing is. I don't know whether I said it before, but it's Ironing.
Whoa, yo.
No, but
man, yeah, but do you know what? Listen, and I want to. Oh man, I don't know if you want to talk about it because you haven't listened to it.
No, I haven't listened to it. Do you want to talk about it?
But I do.
Well,
I'll have a sort of brief little bit because it's actually.
I didn't even know we were even gonna speak about.
I know, yeah, no, you posted something in the chat, but
yeah, I posted
Catra's album.
I posted Quincy Jones. Actually.
Oh yeah, so maybe we can go into a little music convo. This is probably it's a producer conversation then, I guess. Sophomore album.
My horn so much, man.
Sophomore album, Bubba, by the one and only Catra. Man, smashed it.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's got a bit of like Afro beats in there, like, but tastefully done. Like, when I say Afro beats, people aren't going to see it as Afro beats. There's not like...
What do you mean,
there's
like
just
rhythm, tempo and
yeah,
stuff like
there's
that?
just
Okay.
There's just so much African influence in it. There's so much African... I do hesitate to call it Afro beats. I won't even call it Afro swing or Afro beats. There's just a lot of African influence in it, and just all the percussion and just the features that he's got in there. Oh man, it's just like, because one thing I was scared was that it was going to be a bit too slow, but I think he is the mid-tempo king. Like he's the mid-tempo king. Because usually like a lot of the sort of big remixes that he done were like 120 plus, but what he's really known for is his 115 to 112, you know, even a bit lower. Well, say 108 to 115. Like that's his bag, and I think he's just smashed it. Sir on the feature, killed it, absolute tune. Mick Jenkins on the feature, killed it.
So hot.
Caliucci's killed it. Even just some of the side beats. Like the one thing I'll say about it is all the beats that are on the side, the tunes that are on the side, there wasn't really any standout ones of those that like were standalone tracks that are like, oh yeah, these banger singles. But all of the ones with the features, they were just great. Kali Uchis was probably my least favourite, but I could see that having the most sort of pop success.
Go to the track list.
And that's the one I see having the most like commercial success, just because of just like the vibe of it. But the one with Gold Link was sick. The one with he had Masego on there. Who did he have? Oh, do you know who else he had? Estelle.
Amazing. One like
Yo, I was like, what?
Sneakily, one of the best writers in the music industry.
For real, serious stuff. To the point where John Legend, I realised John Legend was the one who helped sort of released her, who I think she either signed her or co-signed her.
She is
for her
basically
onto what label was it?
Is she on Epic?
I can't remember.
She is breaded.
No, I think she's breaded anyway, bro. She's still getting 4 million plays a month. 4 million. I know this is not in terms of streams that's converting, but American Boy is still played everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? She's getting those checks.
Like, even if she did, like, she is basically female party next door. Like, that is
interesting
what she is to the industry. She's like, a lot of people don't know that because like Estelle doesn't really speak up and stuff. Like, and like Miss Dynamite as well, obviously. She's a big part of the UK music industry, but Estelle basically having that Kanye feature and stuff like that, it's like
well, John Legend, I don't know if John Legend signed her.
John Legend is from Kanye's camp as
yeah
well.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't know if he signed her or if he
good music things,
if he like sort of helped
imagine Kanye
sort of arrange a situation. But she was signed to an American label. She's I didn't even know she released an album in 2018. It's a heavily reggae.
That's what I hate about the music industry. Like, well, you know, Beyonce brought out self-titled 6 years ago, innit?
Okay.
And that was surprise drops. So everyone's thinking we shouldn't market no more. We shouldn't do market. We shouldn't have a marketing budget. All of that. That destroyed the music industry so bad.
Yeah, people.
Surprise drops like really destroyed it. Everyone started thinking.
But that's just stupidity, man. Because like, obviously there's a reason why that works for someone like Beyonce.
The year after, as soon as I started seeing, I was like, you guys need marketing, bro. I was like, you guys, like, I was like, because I'm still a heavy fan of Wale, but I was literally focused on Wale's music in that time, and he did surprise drops, and I was like, I didn't even know this stuff.
But he done a few things that kind of just even musical choices and sort of transitions in sound that were a bit questionable, that I think didn't help into his favor.
Even in that year, 2017, I believe, I done a massive thread on Twitter, just speaking to Wale about the stuff that he needs to do with marketing and image and all of that stuff. I deleted it, and it was on my old account, but that thread existed for a long time. I deleted it while I had my old account, but now that account is also deleted. But yeah, like, the reason why I asked about being the best is because of obviously that's a conscious decision. That's also a conscious decision. That's like you looking at everybody that has ever done anything in your field and saying, I want to be on that level or higher. And then also coinciding with that, it's like the way I was looking at Quincy Jones and just like listening to that conversation. And it's like, he didn't say anything special.
Oh, I need to watch it.
But it was like, no, you just need to listen to it. Like, just understanding the stories and the people he was affiliated with.
How long is it?
It's like an hour and a half.
Have I got my
easy.
That's my journey home.
Yeah, like
Awesome.
That is like he was in the midst of everything from not even the 60s. He was born in the 30s, so from 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, like 13 playing the horn while moving from Chicago to I forget where he moved to, but then like he was playing with. Damn, it was just so many names.
Yeah, like all the jazz scene, like he was coming through with the jazz greatest in the jazz scene, yeah.
And I was just like, wait.
You've seen the documentary, right?
Yeah. But like, I just like listening to that dude. Like,
Yeah.
just knowing
His
he
voice is so
lived.
jokes, man.
Yeah.
I love him. What do you mean, man?
I said to Michael, man.
What do you mean, man? Man?
Man.
It's the way he says man.
Oh man, I want to play Quincy Jones in a Quincy Jones movie. Like,
Oh my.
learning the trumpet
That's some funny
and
shit.
playing Quincy Jones would be sick. And just like Debbie Reynolds, Michael Jackson, John Travolta.
Yeah, just that, like,
What?
using the sort of the jazz sensibilities and how it informed the like pop music.
Bro,
And
he done like
it's mad. Like, he was
100-piece
making
orchestras.
high tier pop music. Like, think about Michael Jackson's level of pop music. That's some next level ish.
Think about Let It
There's
Snow.
only yeah, mad, crazy.
Bro,
Did he write that?
I believe like he wrote We Are the World. I know he wrote that. But he was just with the best people in the world. Like, literally, the best musicians of the 20th century. He was a part of every single one of their legacies. And I like in my head, like, just because I know what the UK is and is going to be.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about Suede in through that lens, and I was like, damn. Like, because a lot of the stuff that we do, we don't think it's a big deal until like after it's a big deal.
That's what I realised.
And like, and which is part of the reason why I say posterity. Like, we need to archive, we need to make a podcast, we need to do all of this stuff because we need to know what we thought, we need to know what we said. Like, not for everybody else to like be listening to and like be the biggest podcast in the world, because we're not trying to be that thing. Although making money and being great at this is like it's the way that we should act. We should act in the way of like being great in this. But just knowing how we said and did what we said and did, like just having our thoughts and brains and just having that posterity and being able to like listen back and not even have to tell the story, but we are living the story of the future because of what I've been speaking about in Future History and Black Renaissance 2 and Black Renaissance 1. It's like that there, it's just deep. Like, and just listening to Quincy Jones, just knowing what the UK is literally going to be in the art scene. Like, because what the UK doesn't have is the economic part of it, basically. We don't have the economics. We have to leave for the economics. But if we invent the economics for tech and for music and for fashion, like just a fashion fact, Samuel Ross is taking his show to Milan, and basically in the politics and in Fashion Week, Fashion Week Paris, Fashion Week Milan, and Fashion Week I think New York is saying England or Fashion Week London has to put their show at January 3rd, which is basically too early to have a fashion week. It's just really ridiculously early.
What, because of production schedules or like when everything's made, or
like because all of the like, even though we've got magazines and all that stuff here, and like even just some of the best creatives out there, like a lot of people go to CSM, and that's what we talk about: classism, pedigree, all of these type of words. That all of the cool people go CSM and that. But Samuel Ross is moving his stuff to Milan because basically Milan has the mills, Milan has the factories, Milan has the distribution, it has everything, and the UK doesn't have any of those things. But if we could add those and become a high producer of fashion and a high producer of like circuit boards and stuff like that, just tech things and hard drives and just everything that we need in tech and everything we need in fashion, that will change the dynamics of how we create. But like I said, we just like to put it simple. It's like we need the economics. That's the like literally. I'm not thinking about moving to America or Canada because Boris Johnson is in office. I'm thinking about, okay, I need factories. I need people with elite taste levels, and those people aren't gravitating towards London because for some reason we keep forgetting that London is not even London. England is this tiny ass island. Like England has control of other places and other things in different places, but it's not a creative hub. It's like a place where creativity can thrive because it's there's a lot of locale in it, but it's also very expensive to live here. Just in general.
And just compared to a lot of other places, the actual pool of people isn't as big. Just by sheer number,
yeah,
it's just bound to happen.
Yeah. Like we have diversity, but there's not like one ethic and there's not one ethos.
Which is actually pretty amazing. The kind of art we have produced,
as 100, like produced, but like just the amount of money that art is bringing in isn't enough because of the economics that's involved. And you have to move to Paris for certain reasons, or you have to move to Germany for certain reasons, or like music, you move to America. Like your label is going to be an American label. Like if you want higher distribution, you go to American label. Like with Virgin, EMI, and Universal, you need to sell your music in Germany, in Paris, in Deutschland, Holland, Sweden. You need to be all around there, plus Africa now, which is becoming a massive market, and America, and just fashion labels and music labels just don't have the infrastructure for that in England. Like it's just little tiny houses. Like although there are other houses, like Universal was like Universal when it's like the owner of the music industry, so it does have the Spanish house as well as it has the New York, and as well as it has everything that's going on in the West Coast and everything that's going on in Europe and all of that stuff. But it's just it's just not easy to make money in art basically in England. And I know I'm rambling, but that is like the one piece that's missing, like someone that can bring that, because what we really need is economic influence, which means we have to be a unit and be able to bend the arm of politicians so that art can be subsidized. But because of the way that art is promoted and perpetuated, it's like on the lowest rung. It's like you have football, you have news, you have TV shows even that come before movies, and then you have like music. Like music is even lower than all of those ones, even though it's one of the highest exports. It's like on one of the lowest rungs. Like you can be like, our music is in Japan before it's on the radio here. That like grime, like real grime, was in Poland and Japan and Korea before it was on the radio here. Just a little grime history for you guys. But yeah, just in general, it's like distribution here is hard. Like grime MCs can tour. Like you can be in Holland today, like with your sound, with your music. I don't know whether you've seen your analytics, but with mine, like I'm big in the Philippines, low key, and on this podcast we're big in the West Coast. Shout out to West Coast. But it's just like we need we need to be able to pull the arms of the politicians to subsidize what we're doing so that we can make more things, because as it seems right now, like you can't stay here and be great at the crafts that we're doing. And that's facts. Like that isn't me just like speculating. That's me understanding the climate in everything that I've learned and just being like, oh.
Okay, so for example, where do you think Ali would need to go? Where do you think Ali
would do massive in Japan easily? He'll do ill in Japan. Just like his artwork, he'll just look good on not even screen print, sorry. Like what's the shiny stuff? Like his artwork can look good on stickers and like when it's well refined and stuff like that. And so like shiny poster boards. Like I want to say vinyl, but it's like
I know what you mean.
like yeah, actually vinyl, like
Vinyl's
vinyl
probably the best.
prints and like a gloss. That's it. Like glossy paper, like in posters and stuff like that. That would do well, and just like in the bright neon lights, like his foundation colors
Yeah,
is
his
like
aesthetics
purple,
kind of-
lilac,
oranges,
yeah.
reds, pinks.
blood red, blood orange, I should say actually, and yeah, just in that, like his cyan, magenta, and yellow, like he runs in that spectrum, so it will do like, yeah, it will do really well in there. And where else? Like obviously, like you can, like Ali can do well graphically, like pretty much anywhere in Asia. Apart from like Hong Kong and stuff like that, which is a different ball game, but also in Seattle.
I was gonna say somewhere in America, probably.
Seattle, and where else?
Why Seattle though?
It's just big. It's just a
What-
big scene. I know
What
some
for like
good
what kind
artists,
of art? What
just
just
like-
just general
yeah,
illustrators and
graphic. What's the guys that spray paint like graffiti? There's a massive graffiti scene. Actually, there's a massive graffiti scene in Germany as well. Yeah, street artists do massive, but like just with the sound, like you can be part of a sound in those spots. Like, and just in his sound and the way his sound is going, that's around the space that he will need to be in. Like, not the music that he makes for other people, just the music that he makes on his own right now in this particular time. Like, if his music was marketed there and his vision and world was marketed in those spaces, like I'd put a lot of money, if I was him anyways, I'd put a lot of money in Facebook on just Japan and South Korea. Or just put bare money in there. Like, yeah, they'd eat that shit up.
It's a good
Like,
shout.
and that
Kamakami, you hear that?
What's that circle face that he does?
What with the crossed eyes and stuff?
Yeah, like that thing.
Okay.
Like that would kill on a sticker. Like just there in that space. Like if he sold that for like £2 or something, or like it came free with whatever, bro.
Yeah, he's figuring stuff out. It's interesting. I think he's making more of a
holla
transition.
me.
He's focusing on more on doing like visual art now.
Yeah, like
That's where he's focusing on.
I'll say like fam. I love Ali, so he could just holler me anytime, and like we could speak about that and just like create a good strategy. Like I know Ali's got a strategy on his own, so that's not a thing. But yeah, I just think it will be fun to be part of that and just like say this is it. But yeah, in general, we need better economics, and I want us to be the best. Like, and just to cap off the Quincy Jones and the podcast thing, it's like I see what we're doing, and I know we can be great, and if not the best, like what we're doing at the end of the day is still history. Like each individual thing that we're doing and we're creating, and the way that I know that we're gonna be marketed, not just saying because I'm here, but just because of the type of people that we also attract. It's like supreme taste level, and because we're in England, we get to have some of the highest taste levels because we've got the best libraries, basically. And like, trust me, you can go to any library and you can ask for a book and they will import it for you. That's how cool the libraries that we have here are. And well, in London at least, and like the Dartford Library, that one's sick as well. And is it the one that we used to go? Where's that
Dartford
one?
Library?
No, the other one. Is it in Erith or Bexley? Was it Bexley Library? We went once or twice, I think. That massive library.
Was it Greenwich?
I don't know.
Whilst he was at uni?
With Ricky.
Yeah.
Was that Greenwich one?
No, because that was when we was in college, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was the one in Dartford, that was the go-to. Where would it have been?
Yeah, it was just...
I don't feel like it was Erith one.
It was like... Because it had the massive glass windows and stuff like that. And it's like...
That's annoying.
Yeah.
Because I know what you're talking about, but I can't even see a visual of where we were sitting.
And I'm crap at geography. So that's the reason why I'm like looking at you for you to drop the name. But yeah, our libraries are great and we can create awesomeness, and we're gonna like just in how I'm about to be focused in that space. It's like I just want us to be marketed the best in our own markets. Like I want us to each have foundational markets where we do well in those markets no matter what, and then like the world can be seen and whatever. But like basically the Tyler the Creator model, but with all of us. And yeah, that's what I'm on, and it's like just making sure that if not our legacies are biggest, but just cemented in like
there's a notch on the totem pole.
Like just having like 2 or even 1 decade is good enough, like of just great work executed every single year consistently. Just 1 decade of like just sick work just coming out from like the group that we're a part of. It's like that's all we need. 100. But yeah.
Okay, lit. That is it. Man,
that's an awesome roundup conversation. That's dope. That's a dope, because that's where our minds are right now. But yeah, this has been the Culture and Camaraderie podcast. Thank you for listening. This is myself, Damadici, nytypical.net, and Laxera, LAX_ERA. Are you thinking of removing the underscore?
If I can.
But yeah.
I don't know. Because then it's Laxera.
Laxera. Yeah,
that's all right.
That's all right. But yeah,
it works either way, doesn't it?
It does.
If it's one word, it kind of works.
Underscores kind of throw people off a little bit, which is why I removed the underscore from
see
my
if I
fashion
can.
page.
I don't know if I tried it.
But yeah, here are Black's Error. Either way, on SoundCloud as well. Have you uploaded recently?
No, I haven't.
And Sound Assuade. I'm waiting for those pictures. I was even supposed to ask you.
We're trying to sort everything out now. We've got another show in the works that we're sort of trying to get together. We may be doing it at a different venue, but we'll see what's going on. I'll keep everyone posted.
The money gonna be different.
Yeah, so but we'll keep y'all posted. Anyway, this has been the Culture and Camaraderie podcast.
Peace, blessings, and salutations. Tations. 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 Tations.